Hi everyone and welcome to my React.js application tutorial. So today we will learn how to build a clean and very simple React application for beginners. Let's start with a small demo of the app right here. So we have the logo right here, my blog. We have two links, new blog and home. Let's create a new blog, blog one, out. Author, we have three different author. Let me pick the first one. Here we go. That's done. We can also edit this one to 100. Here we go, block 100. This is another block. We can also delete a block. Delete, disappeared. So we can basically create, delete, update, and read a block. So we'll be also using ChatGPT for different research. For example, is React.js is a popular JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Interesting. So guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to ask any question in the comment section below. I'll be leaving a link to my GitHub repo. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. So now we can start with installations. We'll have to install Node.js and Visual Studio Code. So we just have to be on Google, and then type Node, click on the first link, and then start the installation, download, and then install. And the Visual Studio Code exactly the same way. It's pretty easy. I already have them installed, so that's why I'm not installing actually. And then after that, I just have to make sure I have Node installed. cmd, I have to tap here Node -v. Okay, I have it installed. Now I move to Visual Studio Code. That's where we will have all our codes, and we will code actually. So now we're good to go. But for me, I will need one more extension. Simple React snippet. Exactly this one. It makes the development much more faster. Instead of writing all this line, I can just type 3 letters. So it depends. If you guys want to use it, you can install it. Otherwise, you can just like code, as you guys can see. That's it. It's all the same. So you have to install it right here, and then click on settings. Settings. Yeah. Right here, emit. And then add an item. The key will be JavaScript, and then the value will be JavaScript React. Yeah. And that's it. And now I'm good to go. So now we can start creating the app. And for that, we just need any terminal. We can create it from the terminal, or click on this terminal. Yeah. So now we are in the folder React projects, but I have another folder that I have created. I want to go in there. So cd, I think it's React. Yes. So now to create a React app, you just have to type npx create React app space, and then the name of app. So I'm gonna use my blog like this. Okay. And then probably I think we have to wait for probably 1-2 minutes. It will take time a little bit. After the creation of the app, we'll click on File, Open Folder, click on my blog, and open it. And then we just have to make sure we are inside the folder My Blog, and then we type npm start. This is the script to just start any React application. We'll click on OK. It will take some seconds. It will just first start the server, and then it will show our application in our browser in a while. Here we go. So this is our first React application. It will always run on this address, localhost semicolon 3000. Great job. Let's go back to our Visual Studio Code, and we open my blog folder. So we have different folder inside it and files. So this first one, node modules, contains all the library of React. The public folder contains all the resources, images, and public files. And CRC, this is where we have all our codes and components. This is where we have like more manipulation. And then we have git ignore, that's for the version control. And this is the package, JSON package. And the second one, it has like all, I think, the dependencies. The second one is actually the same thing, and this is a readme. Great. So now before we start, I will show you guys a small architecture that I've been doing, small design that I've been doing myself, because I think design is very important, just to show you guys like what you will have to expect. Then you have a bit of idea about the application. So it's like basically the applications I told you guys will be able to create blogs and delete, edit as well, and view the blogs. So for that, I think we'll be creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 components. We call those components. Okay, so we have the navbar, the ones like just at the top, the navbar, and the navbar contains the create blog link and the home link. So we have the create blog as well. So we just create a blog, and then when we press on OK, to redirect us to home. So this app is like the main component. This is the one that will be sent to Visual Studio Code, let's say the server, and will be shown on the browser. Okay, this is the main app. We'll show you guys after. And it contains as well home and navbar, and here is home. Inside the home component, we have the navbar. We always have the navbar thing, and we have the blog list. So the different blogs that we'll be creating will be inside here, and this blog list is actually also a component that will be showing here inside, because it contains different blogs. So I made it a component. It's a good practice. So the blog list contain also a blog detail. For example, if we click on one, and we can see it, and that blog detail contain as well a edit blog and a delete blog. So this delete blog, we have the code inside the blog details, but the edit blog is also another component. So basically we have edit block here, and this is the component. It's easy. We just call this component right here, so there's not a lot of code to write here about the block details. And then we have useeffect. So because we're using a JSON file as our database, so if you want to like Fetch, it means if we want to take some information from the JSON file or to send information. So we always have to we have to write a code for that. So this code, I just put it in one component, okay? Then we'll be just always calling it like from block list. If we need like the information of all the list, we call it and it will come. And this block detail the same way, edit block, because when we edit, we have to save it back. It will also call the same component, and the create block as well will call the same component. I don't need to type like I don't need to write all this in each of those four components. So I just did one component and then use it. That's a good practice. So we don't need to type the same code like 4 times. And this one is like not found. This is like whenever a wrong link appears when we type a wrong list, a wrong link, then we have this page basically. Yeah, so that's all. So let's go into the practice. So now let's open the file app.js. So this is like the most important component. So you guys know whenever we have like app.js or whatever that JS, we call it a component in React, okay? So for example, we have this, and I'm going to try to remove this this image, okay? So I just have to come here and then remove this. Okay, I saved it. Let's look back. We don't have it anymore. Okay, pretty easy. I'm just gonna empty everything right here. So I always have to leave a div. Okay, so I have to write inside a div. For example, if I remove this div, look, there's error. I have to leave a div and then write inside it. Okay, so let me write. Now it's working well. Repeat. Save it back. Let's go back. Here we go. Now it's working well. UP. Cool. So so as I told you guys, this component is like the most important one because like it's the one that we see on the browser. So we have this app.js, and then inside index.js we call this component, and then it will send a root, this root actually. So because we created like a constant root, and we send this to one of the public file, which is called index.html right here. So this one will be seen on the browser. Okay, so let's come back right here inside app.js. So we have app.css. CSS, it's like it helps for the front end part, like the design, okay, the font, the colors, the position of some font or some images and stuff. Let's just check on ChatGPT. Let's ask a question. What is CSS used for? CSS stands for, okay, cascading style sheets, and is primarily used for styling web pages. Okay, it's for styling web pages. It allows web designers and developers to separate the content of a web page from its presentation. Okay, which makes it easier to manage and update a website's design. Okay, great. So as you guys like seen, so yeah, here we have like our CSS. It's like separated from the code itself. Okay, So this one is like the CSS of app.js. That's what we're using here, app, the class name, and then we have to reuse the class name right here, and then give the different like for example text align center. It means that's why like we have this center right here. For example, if I change it, or if I just remove this, look, save, see it's not anymore. It's no more here in the center. It just came like normally. So basically in this tutorial I'm not gonna cover the CSS part, but just like talk a little bit about it. So I will probably, I'm not gonna use this, okay? I'm gonna remove all. I have my own CSS that I did. I'm just gonna copy paste it. So I'm gonna use only one CSS file, okay, for the whole application. So I'm gonna remove this, delete. I don't need it. I can just leave it there, but I have to remove it. So now this one is not working anymore. But look, one error here, not found, can be up. Okay, because now from here it's trying to like import the CSS file. Now it's saying, oh, I cannot find anything. So I'm gonna remove it. And the logo, I'm gonna remove it. We don't need any logo. So now Control S. Now it's okay. Let's check back the browser. Nothing changed. Cool. So like there's some couple of files that we don't really need as well. This one we don't need it, and this one too. I can remove it. I'm gonna remove this at least. So I can remove these two files, but I'm just gonna leave it. No, don't want to disturb, or I don't want to like make you guys confused. So now what we have to do, so here the CSS body and code. So I'm gonna remove this. I have like my own CSS right here. Pip pip, Control A, C. I'm gonna copy that one here, right? Okay, great. Control S. Let me see if something changed. Yeah, you guys will see like the font change a little bit. Anyways, after I will like explain like the different CSS codes, what I've been writing, why, and yeah, not all, but a little bit while we're typing the codes. So okay, the CSS is done. So app.js, we have these. So now I'm gonna create the navbar. I'm just gonna be inside the source, and then click on this navbar.js. So this is a component. So we type sfc, get this one, navbar right here, and then inside the return, I'm gonna put the div, open div, last name, navbar as well. So I'm just gonna type like blog. Okay, save it. So I'm gonna call this component inside the app.js so that we can see it on the browser. Okay, so that's pretty easy. We just have to import it. Import navbar from, okay, import navbar from that slash, exactly, that slash, it means like we are in the same folder, and then this file. Okay, so we have it here, and then we just need to use it actually. So I'm just gonna have it like on top here, navbar, This is how we call a component. Okay, now let's save and have a look. See, okay, to make sure that it's that one, I'm just gonna change something, my blog. Yes, it's me. Save, and then let's go back here. We blog. Yes, it's me. So why we have this design right here and this one is like different, I'm gonna tell you guys. It's very easy. It's just like the CSS, because this one I applied the CSS on it already, and this not. That's why I'm gonna show you. So always the CSS is used with the class name. Okay, so I have this class name. I already know the CSS. You just have to like give any name, like class name, for example, navbar. Okay, and then inside the CSS you should have here somewhere like navbar. You see that navbar h1. So all the h1 inside the navbar class name will have like color blue. Navbar links, navbar a, navbar hover. It depends. Okay. So me, I had like navbar but h1, then it's a blue. I'm gonna add two links inside the navbar component, the home link and then the new blog link. So I'm gonna write the tab, link tab. I'm gonna import it to, I need to give the path of the component. So this will be the root. So slash home, the second link to, I'm gonna call it create. New blog. Save. And then inside to make this works, so I'm gonna go inside the app.js. This is where I will show the route. Then the route will be like, okay, when I get this path, I need to get to this component. Okay, so for that I'm gonna create first of all these two components. The home component, a lot of O, the JS, home, then an H1. That's it. I'm gonna make it very simple. What is this? I'm gonna create the second component. Call it create blog. Create. So an H1 as well. Then add blog. Again, I'm doing the same mistake. I'm gonna save, and then now I can go inside the app.js component, and I'm gonna import manually browser router, and then the route and the routes. Great. So because this is like too long, I'm just gonna call it router. So first of all, I'm gonna surround this with the router tag. So okay, and then the second thing, I'm gonna write the route itself. Just after the navbar, I'm gonna remove this. So this is where we write like all our route, and then whenever we make a change, it's only this part that will change. The navbar will not change, and if I write anything down here won't change, but only the component will come inside, like under the navbar, and before the SSS, the component will be okay. Always, each component I will call will come inside here. I'm gonna remove this SSS. So now, which component I need to call first? So the root component will be always called index. And then the element is the component itself, which is the home component. Import it. Great. And then the second component is, so now we need to give the path equal to, remembers the path. Okay. What is the component name? Remembers. Component is called blog, right? Now I'm looking to create blog. And then I'm gonna close this tab, and that's it. I'm gonna save. And let's go to the browser and see. Okay, why home it's over there? So anyways, home and then new block, add new block. That's good. So we have to surround this route with a content class name. And wait, let me copy this and close the route right here, the div. As right now we have it in the middle, and this one too. So normally now we should have like the different blocks right here. I'll show you my design. Home should contain the blog list. So the blog list would get information from the use fetch, fetching data from JSON file. Okay. So the use fetch component is not like a normal component. I'm gonna show you what is the use fetch component in React. The useFetch component is not a built-in component in React, but it is a custom hook that can be created and used in React applications. Okay, the useFetch hook commonly used to handle data fetching in a React application. So that's the most important thing. I think that's okay. Stop generating. It's enough. It allows developers to easily make HTTP requests to an API and retrieve data without the need to write repetitive code for each API call. Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna create one. Okay, so in order to get information from the JSON file, I will use a use fetch component. So when I use the use fetch component, like there's some specification that I should be using, and then React will directly know that okay, this component is a use fetch component. It's used to just get information from a JSON file. Okay, great. So let's first locate the JSON file. So I'm just gonna create a folder right here. Data. Inside that, I'm gonna create a file called database dot okay, and database like this dot JSON. Okay, great. So inside here, I'm gonna just get I'm gonna copy paste like the information, the different blocks, and yeah, I already have it here. Great. So we have the blocks information right here. So we have an array, and then inside the array we have like different objects. So title, there's a title, body, author, and ID. Okay, it should always has like different IDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, I'm gonna save this. So now we're going to read these informations, the JSON file, and for that we need to use a JSON server. We just have to create a new terminal from here. If we want new terminal, I'll just add this one. Yeah. So now we'll be writing npx JSON server, JSON dash server dash dash watch, and the folder we have it in data slash base dot json dash dash port, and we specify the port. The port, I'm gonna show you, the port 3000 is already in use, so I will pick the port 8000. Then okay, so it will actually send us a an address like this one. This is the local address, but the address like this one, where we can have all these informations. And it's from this address that we will be able to get this information inside our components. Okay, so let me see. I think it's done. You see, we already have these, and it has specified itself blocks. Let me open this on the browser and let's see what we have. Copy, and then let's open it here. Great, we have all this information. That's nice. I'm going to create the useFetch component. Inside this component, we'll be getting the data from the JSON file. For that, I need to create two constant data. That's the block list. I'm going to be using the useState function. UseState for it. First value will be null. This second constant is the error message. In case we are not able to get the data from the JSON file. I'm going to explain the useState function. For example, we have a const name, set name, useState, and mo is the first value, name equal to mo. So this is a page, mo's profile, mo's post. If we want to edit name mo to cmo, so we have to use this set name. It's a function, set name cmo, and there's automatically these and these will both be changed to cmo. That's the power of use state. And we have also the use fetch and the use effect. They are called hooks in React. Now we'll see the use effect function. Imported it. The use effect function is always the first one to be run in a component. So if whenever we call the use fetch component, it will run first the use effect. So that's why it's a great place to have our fetching code inside it. Most of the applications you will see always the fetching code inside the use effect function. So let me write the fetching code right here. I'm just having the arrow function and then fetch localhost, then the port number 8000, and the name of the blog, it was blogs, the blog list inside the JSON file. So this will get the blog lists. Then we have to convert it to a JSON res. Return res.json. Then we have the data. Just have to save it. Then we will have the error message in case if we got one. That message to just have like the name of the issue itself. That's it. Now I think I would just return the data and the error, because that's the only thing we need from this component. Yeah, great. Now inside the home component we should have the blog list. Okay, so we just have to go inside the home component, and then we need to get the data and the error from the useFetch component. The data and the error. useFetch. Okay, so now we need to show this data right here, but we make sure first that the data is working. So I'm just gonna use the console log, show it in the console. The console, we just have to click, left click, inspect, and then we come right here. Okay, that's good. We have like a bunch of, okay, I understand. I think the issue is like inside the useFetch component, the useEffect will run many times and don't even stop. So we have to use the dependency right here, brackets, then save. Then it will run only once. Great. So let me see if we have, yeah, we have the data. That's good. Yes, CMO 1 design for making. Let me see. CMO 1 design for making. That's really good. But here we have null. And I think that's okay. So you guys understand the useFetch will go to the JSON file and get the data and come back. So that will take a little time actually. So during that time, this will be shown, and by that time, the data will be like empty. So that's why we see null first, and then we see the data itself. To solve that issue, I will verify if this data is true, then the NN symbol. So this means if this data is true, it means if it's full of data, then go to this, okay, this side. Otherwise, you just have to stay if it's like false. False is like when it's empty, null. So let's save. Great, there's no null, and it's working. That's good. So now I'm going to create a new component called the blog list. This component will contain all the blogs, div, and the class name. Inside this div, we'll have the blog list. Then I need to get the blog list from the home component. So data will be, I can rename it blogs. And so up here we should have the error message in case we have one. So I also have to write that code. Have a small div. So do you guys know why we can write error in this way but not the data? Pretty simple. It's because the data is a list, not the error. So to send this to the component through the component, the block list component, so we have to use a props. What is a props? Pretty simple. You just have to write blocks. That's the name of the props. And then this is the value we want to send. So it's blocks. That's it. Inside the block list, to get the props, I have to write here props and then create a const props for the blocks props dot blocks. Now we normally have the data right here, so I'm just gonna go through it using a map function. Blocks that map. I'm going to design it a little bit. I'm going to use a div class name. It's equal to block preview. And then we need to have a key, a unique key to be able to go through the map. So for that, we'll be using the block.id. Pretty simple. Then I'm going to close my div right here. So inside the database.json, we have the title, the body, the author, and ID. So I'm going to just show the title and the author. Yeah. H2. Blog.title. And then I will have maybe paragraph B by bold text blog.author. And then I'm gonna save. Normally it should work. Finger cross, finger cross. Let me check. Great, this is working. The next step will be to be able to click on one of those blocks and then get to a new component where we'll have only the information of this blog. We'll have the blog ID, the blog author, the blog body, and the blog title. So for that, we'll create a new component called blog details. Blog details. Details. Okay. Now, last name will be blog detail as well. Make it easy. Blog detail. I'm gonna save. So the blog list, we have to go inside the blog list. So this part, we should click on this part actually and be able to go to that component. So I'm gonna use a link for that. Link to equal, I have to import it. Let me import it manually. So we have to import link from the React Router DOM. Import link. Two, we have to give the name of the path. Okay, now we have to give a path name in order for this link to be able to go to that path, which will be a new component. Okay, so for that, I'm going to tell you guys something. So while we're sending that path, okay, while we're giving the path here, it's going to the path, I'm going to add this blog ID. Then it will be as a parameter with the path. Then when we send it, it will actually go to the new blog list, the new blog, the new component, which is the blog details. Inside the blog details, we will be able to get the parameter, which is the ID. When we get the ID, it's pretty easy. Through the useFetch component, we will fetch the data with the ID, with the same ID. Then we'll just like have the data, the blog, that same blog, and we'll be able to just like show it inside the blog list. Okay, it's pretty easy. Let's go through it. So now I need to have a path here which will take us to the blog list, blog details. So for that, I need to go to apps and then create a new route. Path will be equal to, let's call it blogs. And then I have to show that I will need a parameter. So that's how we do it. Element. Now we need to give the component name. The component will be blog details. I hope it's import it. Blog details. I'm doing. Yes. Blog details. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna save this. Okay, so let's go back to blog list. So now the path will be blogs. Now I'm gonna give this blog details, the blog ID. So for that I need to type $sign and then blog.id. Why it's not working? Because this is actually a backtick. It's not an apostrophe, it's a backtick. Great. Control S. So now this is good. So let me check if there's any mistakes somewhere. Okay, not like big mistakes. Can we click on it? Let me try. Okay, that's good. Can you guys see the number one right here? So let's go back, and this Mohammed, I think this is number 3 blocks, and then number 3 cup. This should be 4. 4, that's good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just like try to show this 4 inside the block details itself. Okay, so block detail, we need to import a something new called use params from React Router DOM still. So import use params. React Router DOM, as always. Inside the apps, this was called, the parameter was called ID. So we will create a const called ID equal to, so now we have to use the use param to get it. So use params, and that's it. Now normally this is the ID, so I'm just gonna show it. And then ID, save. Let's see. Oh, that's really fast. Good, it's really working properly. So now we have the first one, 1 and 1. Yeah. The last one's 5 and 5. Now let's go to the block details component. Now we need to get the data from the JSON file. So let's go inside home. What we did before, I'm gonna copy it. We used the useFetch component. Then we get the data. But this time it's a bit different because we need a specific block. For that, we need to have a slash and the ID. Okay. In that case, we have to write again a whole useFetch component. But what we can do is, I'm gonna copy this, and I can write here URL, then a parameter, okay, URL, save. Inside the home component, the useFetch will get then the path. So we'll just have to write the path itself here. That's much more easier. And then inside the block details, the same path written. But now I need to add slash and the ID. So it will be plus ID. Yeah. Then we get the exact, not blocks, we get only one block. We have a problem right here. Line 536 inside use fetch. Okay, let me see. Use fetch line 5. inside the use fetch. Okay, it's not defined where. Maybe it's not defined inside the. Oh yeah, here it's not defined. Okay, I see. I'm a bit lazy, so I'll copy this and go inside the blog details, and then just paste it. Save. Okay, that's good. On line 19, inside the useFetch component, we have a small warning. React 2 useEffect has a missing dependency. So the line 19 is right here. Let me save. Now it's working well. So as I told you guys, the useEffect function will be run only once, and we will have different URL. So that's the issue. Then it needs to be run many times, at least as long as we change the URL. So that's why we have URL here. So each time that the URL change, it will render this function. Inside the blog details, I'm going to show the blog we selected. It's exactly this one. So I'm going to write first the error. If this is true, then go to this site. So if we don't have any error, so it will just go to the data. The data is block. So I have a parenthesis because I'm going to write a HTML code. So I'm going to write an article. H2. So this will be the title, the value, blog dot title. Written by, this is the author. Blog dot author. And then the blog body. ID, we already have it here up. Okay, I'm gonna save, and yeah, this is good. Let's check the browser. So I'm gonna click on Android. Great. Android blog detail is the blog number 3. I have been following. Let me check. 1, 2, 3. I have been following. Yeah, that's good. That's working. Now we go to now we go to the new blog component. Add new blog, which is actually the create blog component. Inside this component, we should be able to add a title, a body, and an author. Be able to save them inside the JSON file. For that, let me write down these 3 constants: title, set, title. First value will be empty, an empty value. I'm going to just copy this, paste it back. Body. And this will be body as well. author, and this will be author too. Now let's come inside. If I'm gonna write a form, so here we have the blog title, input should be required, set title, target, that value. So this one is when we start typing the input, so it will right away save it inside the title. So this A, the target, the value is exactly the value of the input. So I'm going to copy this back, paste it twice. The second one will be the blog body. Blog body. And the third one will be the author, which is a bit different. Author. Instead of input here, we have select. Inside the select, we have some options. I think we'll just have like 3. Value. First one will be more. I'm going to copy this and paste more, Simo, Simo. And here we have Mohammed. Mohammed, okay. Now I think it's done. Yeah, this is done. I just need to add a button. Add new block. So for this form to be sent, to be submit, I need to write here on submit. So what will happen? So if this the button is clicked, so what will happen? This will send something. So it will call a function. Inside that function, we'll be able to save the data. So now I'm going to create that function, which I'm going to call the handle submit. So const handle submit. Arrow function. So I always need to have this e dot prevent default. This will actually prevent the default action, the submit button, because otherwise it will just like reload all the page. So this will just avoid it. And then now let me type here first handle submit. Okay, so now we need to get the data and then just save it inside the JSON file. So it should be in a form of an object const log. So we have title, and then we have body, upper. The ID will be added automatically. So I will use the fetch http localhost. This time we didn't use the usefetch component, so we do it ourselves because this time it's different. It's a we have to save it. We're not only getting the information this time. 8,000 blocks. So I have to show that it's a save. This time we have to save. That's called a post. So method that we're using is a post. And then header that we're using application / JSON. So the content type application / JSON, and then the body. That's the whole information itself. So we're gonna convert it to a JSON. Thingified to the blog. Yeah, I think that's all. Then I would just like to write anything in the console to confirm that we have it, that it's done. So console.log and blog added. Yuppie. Yeah, because we'll be glad for sure. Save and let's see. I hope this is working. Oh my gosh, there's a problem right here. User state is not defined. That's very easy. Why I always forget to import. Import user state. I'm saving. Okay, let me just open this terminal to show us like all the problems. Set authors is assigned a value but never used. Okay, you see, I forgot to change this one. You guys forgot to change it. It's not me. I'm joking. Okay. Hope everything is alright now. I said successfully. Let's see. Oh, that's good. It has a good design too. This is all the CSS job. So now let's type anything. Title is like book. Yes, I'm reading a new book tomorrow, but I need to read today as well. So Simo, okay, I'm gonna choose Simo, add new block. Block added UP. You see this message right here? It means that we did all this and it came inside till here. And then let me see if it added it. Yes, here we go. Simo book. Yes, it worked. Yes, I'm reading a new book tomorrow, but I'm very happy. Let me add a new one. One. This time, I'm just checking. I don't know why I'm wasting time, like just writing whatever. So I'm gonna keep on more. Add new block. Again, a second one. I think this is good. Oh, there's a problem. Written by, there's no one here. Okay, I think I understand. So when I type new block, hi, for example, hi one, and I have to choose, I have to click on it probably, then add. Okay, for that, I think it's better for us to give the first value more. Then we can change. So for example, new block, block 2, block 2. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna add block added up home. This time we have the name. Now that we're done with the add method, let's go to the delete method. Let's go inside the block details component, and then right here I'm gonna add 2 more buttons. Delete, edit. When we click on the delete button, so we call a function. On click, that function will name it handle delete. So this function will be called, let me create it. Inside this function will delete the block. Fetch http localhost. The port number is 8000 blocks. Now we have to add the ID of the block that we want to delete. So we have the ID right here, use params, or we can use this block.id. Now we have to specify the method, which is delete. To confirm that the block has been deleted, I'm going to add a console.log. Then console.log block deleted. So after that, we'll delete the block. we just come to the console log, and that's it. But it's preferable if we can be redirected to the home component. So for that, I'm gonna use a use navigate method. So I'm gonna import it from React Router DOM. Use navigate. Most navigate, let's call it navigate, and use navigate. So it's pretty easy to use. So I just have to write navigate and then the path of the component. So this was actually the home component, a path. So I think I have to use this one also inside the create block, create blocks. Yeah. So after writing this, then we can be redirected to the home component too. And then I need constant navigate, how to use. Yeah. Let's go to the browser. And now let me delete the new one block. Block deleted. Yes, that's good. I'm gonna remove the high block as well. Okay. And it's also going back to the home component. That's good. Let me create a new one and see if we can go back to the browser afterward. New one. New one, two. Then I'm gonna pick Mohammed. Yeah, it just came right after the saving right here. That's good. I'm gonna delete another, the book, log, delete. Yes, it's all working well. So now what's left? I think it's only the edit button left. So that's pretty easy because it's similar to the save, the create block component. Okay. Now I'm gonna create the edit block component. This component will be very similar to the create block component. So I'm just gonna copy this. Create. And paste it here. And then I'm gonna change some small details. Edit. Edit. And then since we're editing the data inside the JSON file, so we have to use put post this. And then we need an ID right here too, the ID of the block that we're gonna edit. So plus, and then we need to give the ID. So how to get the ID? So we need to go inside the block details component. Okay, so from this component, we will send the block, because this is the component, this is the block that we need to edit. So I would take this block and then send it through a component using your props. Okay, so I'm just gonna send it to the edit block component. Block equal to blog and save. And then I'm gonna get the component, the props, const blog equal to props blog. And then what should I do? Yeah, I have to write the blog.id. But since we have blog right here, this const is a blog, and this one too. So I'm gonna change these to like blogs with the S. And the user state as well. Instead of being empty, I can just use the old value. Log that. And we don't need like to rewrite all the title or the body. Blog that body. And then the last one, blog that author. And save. I have to import this here. Great, let me check on okay. Let me reload and see. So now it's good to have the console open, and then we can see the error. So yeah, it's like a lot of a red thing here, but no worries, you just have to read. And so encode type error cannot read, property of null, the edit block title. Okay, I understand. Property of null, so it's saying that this is null. Let me go to the block details. This is null. Oh yeah, it makes sense. So that's why we've been using block and then using this, because first of all the block is empty, so we have to recheck, like we have to double check that it's not empty. So we need to have block, and then for the data get ready. Now I think it should be okay. Yes. Okay, but we're having the edit component just right down here. I don't need to have it always. I need to, probably I would prefer when I click on edit, then I have it. Okay. So for that, what we can do, when we click on the edit, so I can create like a const with a false value, and then when we click on this, it will be true. And then yeah, instead of using block, I can use the new user state. So edit user state false, and then I can have a const and edit edit to true. You guys understand, right? So here I will have instead edit. Then when we come inside this component and we click on button, it means the block is already there. So for the block there is no problem. Then when we click on it, the edit will be true, and then this can come inside this component. So let me just see. Okay, so far I can't see the other component. Let me click. Yes, exactly like this. Home. I click on this. That's good. But now I can't see the values. But I entered the values. I have them. User state block that title. Why do I have the value? Oh yeah. I need to write value equal to, didn't do that, forgot title. Value body. Sometimes it's a lot of small things, so yeah, we forgot some of them. It's normal. You just have to remember and know exactly how to handle your error. If you have like any error, the main thing is like to know, okay, how I'm gonna solve these. You have to go exactly to the point where we have like you have the big problem. For example, I read this and I recognized right away that it was like the null, and I want to the main problem. So that's the thing. Okay, now it's working. Simo, that's good. So now let's edit and see if it's working. Let me go back inside. I know all this red thing is like bothering. At least it's bothering me. Yeah. Prefer to see clean white. Edit. I'm gonna change this to 3. Oh, yeah, this is working. 3. Block added UP. Block edited. UP twice. So yeah, I think it's working now. Edit. 1. And then I'm gonna change between. I'm gonna add here. Sorry. Let's change the other to more. Let me refresh the page. Now I'm gonna check back. Okay, Mo and story. Yes, it's working well. Great. So one more thing is that, for example, if we type a wrong address, what will happen? Nothing. So we have to solve this. So I'm gonna call another component here called not found component. So I'm gonna create not found.js. Not found. Then I'm gonna have a div here. Class name will be not found as well. Which cannot be found. Very simple one. So I can also have a link, or we can click and then go back to home component. So click here to go back to the home page. I was writing their component. That's not for the users though. Then I can maybe, it's okay. So I'm gonna save, and then I think that's all. I just need to go to app.js and then write the path equal to asterisk. That means like whenever value will get the address except these two and the slash. So just show us this component. So the component is not found. Alright, not found component. Great. Save. Let's try and see. Yeah, good. Page cannot be found. Click here to go back to the home page. Now that everything is working well, I would like to talk to you guys about some small things. They can be important or not, but it's very good to know them. So for example, inside here, the useFetch component, the res, which is a response, we could not probably fetch the data. So we can know it from this part. Res, if res dot okay is true, it means there's no error. Otherwise, there's error. Okay, so for that we can just like right here, if this means the opposite. For example, this is okay, this is not okay. Not okay means that we can't fetch the data. So if we can't fetch the data, then I will throw an error from this part. Throw error will not fetch the data. That's it. The second thing is the abort or cleaner use effect. So this is more about the fetching part. For example, if we fetch a data from the JSON file and at the same time we fetch another data, then there's an error called abort cleaner use effect. So to solve this, that's why we use the abort controller inside this use effect. So for example, let's go inside ChatGPT and just have a look. What is abort in React? The abort controller is object that is used to cancel a fetch request or any other asynchronous operation before it has completed. The abort controller is used with the fetch API to cancel a network request. Image fetch. Okay. I think that's enough. Abort control is created and signal is passed as an option to the fetch method to be cancelled before it has completed the abort controllers. Okay. So when we use the abort controller, so it will create another instance that will go inside the JSON file and then fetch the data. So I think in this kind of small applications, it's not like very, very important, but in big applications, it's like very important. Okay. So to use it, I'm gonna create a const called abort const equal to new abort controller. The URL will have like the signal right here, signal. That signal. And then okay, inside the catch error, sometimes we have the abort error. So let's see if we have the abort error. So we should consider it as a real error. Abort error. Out. We have to return as well. Yeah, the abort right here. Return. Great. Everything is done. And this is the end of the movie. So thank you guys and thank you for following along. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will leave a link to my GitHub account for you guys to check all the codes, okay? But I will recommend you guys to build this application from scratch to the end. It's like really, really helpful and great for you guys to start like a React application. And I hope I will be coming with some more videos for beginners and intermediate, and let me know on the comment section below if you have any question, and I will be answering to all if I can. And yeah, subscribe and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. That's a help for me. Thanks. Merci et au revoir.